Hi guys, today I'm here with the Instagram or my subscribers Choose My Makeup. I thought that this was a really fun idea, and I'm not normally one to take part in a lot of the YouTube trends, but I thought that this was a lot of fun because it gets you involved, and I also figured it would be a great way to try out some products and put some products to use that I maybe haven't in a while or haven't mentioned recently. So basically the way I did this, first of all, if you're not following me on Instagram, it's just at SamanthaJaneYT, and I've really been enjoying doing Instagram lives over there, and I also post a lot of lip swatch videos and things that I don't necessarily have the time to dedicate an entire video to, but I still want to chat about. So there's lots of great stuff over there. But I basically reached into a drawer of my makeup collection, my eyes were closed, and I picked 2 products, and then you voted on which one you wanted to see on my face. So let's get started. Up first, it was primers. I ended up reaching for 2 drugstore primers. So it was the Maybelline Blur and Smooth up against the NYX Honey Do Me Up, and NYX was our winner at 54%, and I was just reading up on this. I bought this when I was in the United States, when I was in LA actually, over Christmas, and I was like, I basically just bought it because it's like pretty and I was curious about it. And I really love the YSL primer that has the gold in it. And I was reading up on it, and it's supposed to help with discoloration and kind of like evening the skin, which I thought was interesting. So I was like, I don't expect that from a clear primer at all. And then it has the gold flecks in there, which are supposed to help with luminosity. So I've really only worn this once, and I didn't see a huge difference. You know, I'm not a huge primer person, but I don't really see how this can help with like redness. Anyways, it is, however, a really light texture. I was expecting it to be not like honey, obviously, to that extent, but I was expecting it to be a little bit thicker, and it's definitely like a really watery, light consistency. So let me know if you have tried it down below. I know it feels really good, but I'm just not totally sure yet if it does anything, but this is really only my second time using it. Up next is foundation, and we had the Dior Air Flash up against the Clarins Everlasting Foundation, and Air Flash was the winner at 57%, and I'm kind of excited about that because they've actually released new shades, and I previously worn in between 400 and 500, but they've released a 401, which is awesome. And then they've actually kind of changed the packaging a little bit too, because the packaging all used to look the same. It was all beige, but now I think it is kind of like comparable to the shade that's inside. So I really love this foundation. I reviewed it a while back. Gotta shake it up. Actually, put my hair back. I'm not gonna spray it directly on my face, but it is gorgeous. It is such a nice foundation. They've also released a buffing brush, so I'm gonna use the buffing brush, and you spray it directly on the brush. I never spray it on my face. I think I did in my video. Kind of got it on the handle there a bit, but it just says, ooh, holy, oh my god. Oh no. I say oh no because the brush and foundation together are so good, but that's like $120 worth of product. But oh, the color match is better, the coverage is beautiful, the brush just like, it really is truly airbrushed. Wow, that is just the most luxurious thing that's ever happened on my face. That is an experience. It's just so beautiful. Gonna do it on the other side. Just see how like seamless. And I wouldn't say this is completely full coverage, but it gives really beautiful coverage and a really natural finish, so it does not look heavy at all on your skin. Incredibly skin-like. I was thinking about doing like a foundations that are skin-like for oily skin, because it's kind of similar to my like foundations that are good for textured skin, but I have a few more recommendations, so let me know if you'd like that, because I've been really into that lately. So the brush is to buff and then to like pat in on the areas you'd like a little more coverage. And I have used Air Flash with my I like it with my Real Techniques buffing brush too, if you're looking for a more affordable option. But this brush, wow, that's great. Good pick, guys. Moving on to correctors, this was our one split or tie, kind of. It was Maybelline versus e.l.f., and they ended up at 50%, but then when I went and looked at the actual numbers, the Maybelline one had 2 more votes, so this was what won out. This is the Master Camo Color Correcting Pen in yellow, so I'm just gonna use this kind of like here-ish to brighten everything up. I've talked about these before, but I really love these color correcting pens, and I love that they have a red one for deeper skin. Kind of gonna put this like where I would highlight, not necessarily like color correcting anything. And I'm just gonna use the Dior brush. But I really, really love their color correctors, and the apricot is good if you have a skin tone like mine. It's not too light. For concealers, there was two options, both that I really, really loved in the past. It was the Makeup Forever HD up against the NYX HD concealer, and the NYX one, maybe by a landslide, it was 61%. I'm gonna be using this in the shade medium today. I actually haven't worn this in a very long time, and it looks kind of peachy by comparison to what I wear now. Oh wow, it is so peachy. Have you ever had this experience where you go back, I can't believe this, you go back and use a product that you haven't used in a while, like it's been a long time since I've used this. And I'm like, this looks like a color corrector under my eyes by comparison to like the shades that I normally wear in concealer now that are much more yellow. I actually really love the formula of this. This was my favorite concealer for a long time. And I still do, I like it. I think it has good coverage. I will say it doesn't have a ton of product in there, like you do run through this kind of fast. But wow, I need to revisit the colors. It's just, it's funny how like your perspective changes, but the finish of it is really nice. It has good coverage. One of my favorite drugstore concealers for sure. Blending it out with the Real Techniques setting brush, but holy yellow. I mean, wholly not yellow. So let's set all of this in place. I actually realized I forgot to include a face powder, but the powder that you ended up choosing I can use on my face as well. I am kind of wishing you chose the other powder though, but it was the Coty Airspun up against the Kat Von D Brightening, and that one is a little more yellow. The Coty Airspun, I have the extra coverage translucent, and oh, it's so messy, but I find it's a little bit peach, so I'm going to have a very peachy under eye today and face, perhaps. I do really like this powder. It is quite scented. Apparently there is an unscented now, but it's very hard to find, if not impossible to find this in Canada. I bought it in the States, and I mean, I have like half a cup of it here, so I'm not planning on repurchasing it, but that is an option. And I know it has a lot of nostalgia for people too. So I'm going to use a very small amount on the rest of my face. So I think things look good. So for brows, I was actually a little bit surprised at how this went. It was NYX up against Annabelle, and NYX won by a lot. It was 76% versus 24%, which I wasn't really which I wasn't really expecting up against Annabelle, but it was the NYX, I ended up with a lot of NYX in this one, NYX Eyebrow Powder Pencil, and I think I used this in a Get Ready With Me once, but let's use it today. It's definitely more of like a traditional pencil in comparison to their micro brow, which I love. Ooh, wow, yeah. It's very creamy. Oh, tread lightly. And excuse my brows, but my brow lady moved. And I haven't had my brows done now in 6 months. I just don't know what to do anymore. I'm like, I loved her. We built a bond. She did such a good job. And now I'm like, I don't want to have to do that all over again. So I like this brow pencil. I think it's okay, but I definitely prefer the micro brow. It's just easier to use. It depends what your kind of goals are. So I'm really excited that you guys picked the Nude Beach palette. The Nude Tude was one of my first ever eyeshadow palettes, so I'm excited to use this. I actually haven't used it. I'm gonna start off with the shade Bright here, and I'm trying to do a better job telling you what eyeshadow brushes I'm using, but I mentioned in a recent video that a lot of the eye brushes I have are super old. Case in point, this brush is from the first ever Ipsy bag that came to Canada in 2012, and that was my first YouTube video ever, fun fact. But yeah, but the brush is still holding up great, so still gonna use it. A lot of my like favorite kind of crease fluffy brushes are super old. Next here I'm taking the shade Bodacious, putting this in the outer corner. This is on a Luxie 227. Again, I think this is Ipsy related. Either I got it at Gym Beauty or in an Ipsy bag. And I've had a lot of you ask if I'm subscribed to any boxes, and no, I'm not. You would know if I am. I would be talking about it, but I'm not at the moment. BoxyCharm looks really good, actually. People get a lot of good stuff in BoxyCharm, but I find even if I got the stuff in BoxyCharm, I feel like I'm less likely to use it if it comes in a box for whatever reason. But I love the BoxyCharm unboxing videos where people put what they got from their BoxyCharm on their face. So I do really like that. So for my lid, I'm gonna take Brainiac, and then I'm gonna put a little buff on my inner corner. Oh, that's beautiful. It's a little deeper than I was expecting. I should be kind of like thinking through what else I need to put on my face. Pretty much everything I think is gonna go together except for maybe the highlight. You kind of threw a little wrench in the plan there. Well, not the plan, there was no plan, but You screwed me. Just kidding. You could have treated me a lot worse. And then I'm taking that Buff shade, which is gorgeous. It's like a peachy, goldeny, shimmery goodness. That's so pretty. This palette is really nice. Ooh, yes. That's a great shade. Well done. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, I love it. A lot of the time, peaches I find don't show up on me, and they look chalky or too pastel, but this is like a true peach. It's super glowy. It's really just bright and fresh. So that's always exciting for me. Taking a little bit of the Bodacious and Bright, the shades I put on earlier, on my lower lash line. I am so happy that you picked this palette. Thank you so much. I'm really loving this look, especially that inner corner shade. So for mascara, again, this was one I wasn't expecting to win, but it was the Too Faced Better Than Sex, oops, I just told you what one, up against the Annabelle mascara, and this won at 63%. And I'm interested to try this again because I know this is a lot of people's favorite mascara. And not to, like, you know, say too many nice things about myself, but I really love my lashes. And a lot of mascaras work for me. There's a few that don't. And I feel like this is one of them. Or it's not that it doesn't work for me, it's just that I'm kind of like, And I find it flakes on me when no mascaras flake on me. This one is super old though, but it was funny. As soon as I picked it up out of the drawer, like my eyes were closed and I was like, oh, that's Too Faced. Because it's such like heavy, beautiful packaging. So it's definitely dried out quite a bit, but I actually do like the effect it's giving. So it's definitely better once it dries out. Okay, yeah, that actually looks really good. Interesting. Opinions are changing. Things are happening. So I actually really love the way that the Too Faced Better Than Sex looks on my lashes. Oh, whoopsie, I thought I hated it, but apparently I don't actually hate it. Anyways, moving on, it was time to choose a bronzer, and it ended up being the new Anastasia bronzers up against the Annabelle Biggie bronzer, and Anastasia won by a landslide. It was 70%, so I'm going to be using that today in the shade Rich Amber. I have talked about this before. I really enjoy these bronzers. I think they're really nice, and I'm putting it on a MAC 14-0S, which has been one of my favorite bronzer brushes for the past few months. And yeah, I think that these bronzers are really good. And from what I've been told, they actually show up a lot darker on the skin than what you'd expect. I know some people felt like when they saw pictures of it, they were like, they all look the same, there's nothing for dark skin. But I feel like I've seen a lot of people with much deeper skin than I using these bronzers. So maybe it's just a matter of getting it on your face and trying it first. And remember, if you buy anything from Sephora and you buy it and it's too dark, too light, whatever, you can always return it within 30 days, even if it has been used. Guys, I'm really liking the way that this is coming out. I love this eye look so much. I mean, it's nothing groundbreaking, but it looks just so summery. For blush, it was again a very close one. It was NYX Cinnamon up against MAC's Fleur Power, which was actually my first ever MAC blush. Cinnamon ended up winning from NYX, which at 51% was a very close race. And I'm a little worried about not this blush specifically, but the pairing of the blush with the highlighter that won. But I actually love this blush, and I think it goes really well with this eye look. Red blushes are so pretty. Just tread lightly. Reminds me of NARS Exhibit A, which is another blush I love. And I actually just filmed my blush declutter. That's not up yet, but it was very interesting. I talked about this in a vlog too, but I don't know what it was, but for some reason I feel like I have an emotional connection to blushes more than anything else that I've decluttered thus far. And I had a really hard time getting rid of things, because I just like thought back so fondly to all the times that I bought these things. A lot of the time, I bought a lot more blush when I first started in makeup, I think. So that's why I have like such fond memories tied to these products. And I think about, you know, being at the drugstore, or, you know, deciding to like make that purchase online, or who recommended it to me on YouTube. And I don't know, makeup to me is very special. Like, I'm not a makeup artist. I'm not like a guru. Like, I literally just love makeup, and I love being able to talk to you about it. But for me personally, outside of it being my job or YouTube channel, like, it just has so many special memories for me. Anyways, so it was an experience. This blush is so cute. It's just like so flushed and fresh. I'm really enjoying how this is coming out. But for highlighter, we pull up the numbers here. It was Physicians Formula up against the Too Faced Peach Bronzer, or sorry, Peach Highlight, which I had never tried, and Physicians Formula won at 63%. But what worries me is it's the shade Iridescence, which is kind of purple. So let's see how this goes. I'm gonna try it on this Morphe M5 one too. It's kind of like a dense brush. And I really enjoy these Physicians Formula highlighters, but I just don't know, like, it's very purple. I just don't know how it's gonna go with this look, you know? Like if I could just put on like a peachy golden highlight. But you know, it's not the name of the game here. The people have spoken. But I love like their champagne highlighter is really pretty. They've got a lot of great shades. A rose gold. And this one is super fun. It's actually not bad if you have like a skin tone similar to mine, because a lot of the purpley ones can pull a little bit ashy. But it is nice, but it's just a little not what I would go for, because it's kind of cool toned in a sense. For lips, I decided to go with a lip liner and a traditional lipstick. So for the lip liner section, we had Kat Von D up against Annabelle. Again, Annabelle did not win. It is a 65% for Kat Von D. This is one of their everlasting lip liners in Por Vita. I don't know why I bought this shade. I wanted to get Lolita because it's one of my favorite shades of all time, and I was like so excited to have it in a lip liner. Maybe it was sold out or something. I got this in a VIB sale last year, so I don't know why, but it is a nice lip liner, really creamy. I did a little bit of an ombre lip. For my lipstick, it was MAC up against Mary Kay, and MAC won with 78%. I think that was the biggest win, or maybe the next one is the biggest win. But anyways, the shade is Half and Half, which is such a classic, but for some reason, I have never owned it up until recently, and I think I'm gonna love it. Confirmed. Do love. And I would have never paired it with that lip liner, but I really like the way it came out. Such a classic. I mean, what can I really say about MAC lipsticks? But and then lastly, so MAC was the biggest winner. Lastly, I chose sprays. The Face Atelier Ultra Matte. I actually expected this to win because it has matte in the name, but I don't know if Rimmel took it because it was drugstore, but Rimmel won at 75%. This is their Insta Fix and Go 2-in-1 primer and setting spray. Locks in makeup, quick dry, oil free. And it also has like cucumber in there or something. Anyways. Oh God. That got me. That soaked me. So I don't love that as a setting spray because of the spray on it. I hadn't used it in a while. It's nice, but what I like it as is kind of a makeup prep. So it does say it's like a priming spray as well. Reminds me of the Hard Candy one that I've talked about before, or the Tarte one especially, because I think the Tarte one has cucumber in it too. But I don't love this spray on it. So I do like it as kind of a prep item for my makeup, and Rimmel is super affordable too. So here's the finished look. Man, you guys killed it. You killed it. I'm so happy with how this came out. I was like, I'm gonna film this video and I'm not gonna be able to film anything after because my makeup's gonna look crazy, but it came out adorable. I am so happy with how this looks. I think it was super fun. Let me know if you'd like to do this again, if you enjoyed it. But I thought that this was lots of fun. I'm also going to be doing a boyfriend buys my makeup in Serbia coming up, so stay tuned for that. And then I had another idea as well, and I can't remember what it was. But anyways, let me know if you have any more requests, if you would like to see this. I also definitely want to do more Shop My Stashes. I did one of those about 2 months ago where I kind of just myself picked out older items out of my collection and kind of revisited old favorites and that kind of thing, because you know, it's easy to get wrapped up in all the new makeup, and as much as I love it, I also equally love reaching back into my collection and looking at things that I haven't used in a while. So this was so much fun. Thank you to everybody who participated. I had a great time. We all had a good chat on Instagram, and if you don't have Instagram, I'm sorry, but thank you so much for watching this video. If you'd like to connect with me, you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I said that out of order, at Samantha Jane YT, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!